Hi everybody. So this video today is going to be different from my normal, beauty or style related type videos. So I totally understand if you don't want to watch, but hopefully people who think that the title kind of indicates something that they might be interested in watching, I hope that this might be informative and helpful to some people. So I really want to start with a disclaimer saying that anything that I talk about today, I'm planning on using very frank language. I'm going to be as upfront and honest as I can, and so that includes talking about things that might make people feel a little, ew, I don't want to talk about that stuff. And also, I'm in no way a healthcare professional, and actually some of the information that I have to share didn't actually come from the doctor. It came from my own research. So in no way am I suggesting that, people use this as a diagnostic type video, but maybe it'll help, come up with some terms or whatever to share with your doctor. This is not a video that I really felt comfortable making, simply because it deals with, our menstrual cycles and reproductive health and stuff like that. So it's kind of nobody really wants to talk about that. But as I've gone on, I've realized that there's more people than I thought that are kind of going through the same thing or similar things. And I think it's really important for people to know that you're not alone and that you're not the only person that's going through this if you are having kind of some of the same issues. And really what was the catalyst to making this video is some comments that I've been getting on my other beauty related videos, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So this is a discussion basically about hormones today. There's been a whole big long process that I've gone through, and there's been some diagnostic tests that I've had and things like that I could go into more detail if people are interested, because again, I think it's really important to share our experiences there. And also, when I was looking up this stuff online, all I found was negative information that really terrified me. And so I'm more than willing to go more in depth with talking about having my Mirena IUD inserted and the experiences that I've had with that. And I'm more than willing to talk about the Sonohysterogram that I had, the diagnostic test, and all the ultrasounds and stuff like that. If people are maybe looking up the same information online and getting the same stuff that I was getting and getting a little freaked out, because we don't all have negative experiences. So as I said, I'm more than willing to go into those discussions if people are interested. So please just put a comment below and I can make another video, or even just talk to you in a message or whatever. What I want to talk today is about hormones, and as I said, what was the catalyst to this is some comments that I've been getting about my hair on my other videos that I make. And people have been mentioning lately, I've really noticed kind of an increase in people saying, oh, your hair looks really nice and shiny and stuff like that. And I know that it's not just the products that I'm using on my hair, and so that's why I decided to make this video. So that's what I'm going to talk about today, and I hope to make it short. But long story short, I have spent the last 6 years basically in battle with my own body, with my reproductive cycle, my menstrual cycle. And just, as we have children and as we get older and as we get closer to menopause, our bodies change. We know that. And I'm finding that more women than not end up having some sort of menstrual issue at some point in their lives. And it's really all to do with hormone balance. And this is something that I didn't really understand until very, very, very recently, and I only learned about it myself. Long story short, having a screwed up period has led to irregular, very heavy periods, and lots of other symptoms that just had me driving at my doctor I need to know what's wrong, I need to know what's wrong. I'm not too young to be having these issues because clearly I'm having them. It's not in my head. It's not stress. I'm not crazy. Please help me. So over a 6-year period, basically we learned that I have something that's called adenomyosis, which is like endometriosis. It creates all kinds of issues and bloating and discomfort and pain and heavy irregular periods and bleeding all the time. And ooh, I said that word. It's so gross. I know. I also had polyps and fibroids, and I had to have diagnostic tests to rule out uterine cancer and to rule out anything like that. Luckily, there's no, as far as we know, there's no malignancies, which is really great. But basically, my doctor said anything that could go wrong with your uterus is going wrong with me. So you get to the point where you think, well, the only solution is to have a hysterectomy. But when you're in this age group, they don't like to do that because there's a high regret rate, because women might want to have more children into their 40s. I keep telling them, I'm done having children, but, you know, they don't want to push you too soon. But not only that, it pushes you into menopause. So if you're under 40, they really like to try to find alternative methods to dealing with this. So instead of, and I was convinced I have to have a hysterectomy. Like, I thought all of my problems, all of my symptoms were directly related to just having the heavy period. And I never considered anything else. One of the biggest symptoms that I had was just a complete lack of energy and being tired all the time. So the only term that ever came up in the whole entire 6 years that I was kind of trying to figure out what's wrong with me is anemia, right? Because the idea being, if you have increased blood flow, well then, you know, like the increased blood flow means lower red blood cells, which means lower iron, which means anemia. So I always thought that my anemia was related to, I always thought that being tired and all the symptoms I was having was related to being low iron and being anemic. And anemia can even include certain symptoms like pains in your chest and heart palpitations. And so you see, like, all these things are kind of related. Like, I thought, okay, not only do I have all these problems with my period, but oh God, now I'm having a heart attack. And then you realize, well, no, anemia is right. So I was always pushing to be tested for anemia, and I would have blood tests done for anemia, and I always came back in the normal range. Like, they'd say, well, you're a little bit low, but you're not too low, and we wouldn't call you anemic. We would just say that you have low iron. So I thought, again, that I was crazy and that there was something wrong with me inside my head. Because I couldn't understand why I was so tired all the time, but not anemic. And when I would take iron supplements and vitamin B12 supplements, it wouldn't do anything to help me. And as a matter of fact, I would have problems with my stomach with the iron. Okay? So, cut to October when I have the Mirena IUD inserted. Now, just to stress, I did not have this IUD inserted for birth control methods. Like, that is like an offshoot to that. The Mirena IUD is an IUD that releases a synthetic progesterone every day into your system. And that's how it works as a birth control. But what they were finding with the Mirena is it's actually helping women who have irregular periods. So I had the Mirena IUD inserted in October. But I noticed within a few days of having this in, like, and as soon as they put it in, it starts releasing the progesterone into your system. I noticed that I'm still tired, but I think that might be related to something else. But I noticed that I started to have a little bit more motivation and energy, like things that are not very quantitative, you know, like how do you define having more motivation? But I just all of a sudden noticed that I wanted to cuddle with my husband a little bit more. I had motivation to clean the bedroom, you know, like to clean the house. And like before that, it was like, okay, well, I can manage to clean one room today, and then I have absolutely no energy or motivation to do it. I started thinking, oh, I want to do this, and I want to do that, and I just started to have more motivation and more energy. And the other thing was I noticed a really big difference with my hair. All of a sudden, my hair stopped falling out, and I was having like a really big fallout issue for a long time before that. And I know that you normally have fallout, and I always assume, especially if you have long hair, like you get a lot of fallout during the day. But this was like, I was getting lots of hair fallout. So all of a sudden I noticed that my hair's not falling out as much. And I literally feel like my hair, for the longest time I thought that my hairline was receding and I was going really thin up at my hairline. All of a sudden I kind of felt like my hair was maybe not growing back, but it felt a little bit thicker. So it hit me all of a sudden. I wonder if it has anything to do with the progesterone levels that are, you know, like my progesterone levels. Because the IUD releases progesterone. So I went online and I looked up progesterone deficiency or low progesterone levels. And lo and behold, every single symptom that I had that could also be related to irregular periods is related to low progesterone levels. So things like hair loss, things like bloating, irritability, heavy periods, irregular periods, painful periods, low libido, low sex drive, tired, chronic tiredness, all that's related to low progesterone levels. Not only that, if you have more estrogen than you do progesterone, your body gets out of whack. And you get things like irritability, bloating, heavy period, all those things, including heart palpitations and chest pains. So all of the symptoms, basically, that I was relating to anemia were actually related, in my opinion, my non-medical professional opinion, were related to low progesterone levels. Just having my kind of like hormone level change and come more up to balance, all of a sudden I'm feeling my body is more in balance. Even something as totally random as it seems, but I have like these brown spots on the backs of my hands, which I thought were sunspots, thought were aging. Well, they are aging and they're related to low progesterone levels. So I've noticed that, and anybody who's watched me do other videos where I swatch things on the back of my hand may have noticed, they're starting to fade, which you don't think of, but when you start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, it totally makes sense. So even something like this, things that were always kind of defined as the aging process, like things that our mothers and our grandmothers went through and our aunts and everything went through, oh, that's just normal aging, liver spots is what they used to call them. It's related to low progesterone levels. And as you go into menopause, your progesterone and estrogen levels basically drop off anyway. But, you know, being in your mid-30s and going through these things, it's really too early. So my purpose of making this video is to basically say, if you're going through similar, if you're like in your mid-30s and you're going through a really rough time as far as your menstrual cycle goes and the symptoms and everything like that, and maybe you're having some of the same symptoms that I described, and maybe your doctor hasn't suggested this, I would suggest going and having your progesterone levels checked. Because I know, like, my doctor never mentioned having my progesterone levels checked. I had my thyroid checked. I had, you know, my thyroid, and what's the other one? Anyway, I had all those things checked, like all the normal things that they cross off, because it's totally helped me, and I didn't get that way from my doctor. Like, as soon as I saw the list of all the symptoms of low progesterone, I was like, that's me, and that's all the things that I was relating to my irregular periods and relating to low iron levels are actually related to low progesterone levels. And even though I'm not completely out of the woods yet, having that progesterone in my system has alleviated so many of the symptoms. I can't even tell you. I used to feel like bloated and pregnant basically all day, every day. I don't have that anymore. I don't have the cramping. It's been totally amazing. So where I'm at right now is my hormone levels feel really great, but I'm still having kind of like the menstrual issues. So I would like to get rid of those, but also keep the hormones. So I don't know. Okay, so as I wrap up, I just want to say, as I said earlier in the video, if you would like me to do a more in-depth video about my specific experiences with the Mirena IUD and with the diagnostic test that I had done to get to the point where I am now, I will be more than willing to go through those. So that's basically all I want to say. I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Bye, everybody.